Okay, everybody, normal. This is going to be about normal. Normal sailed. No such thing as normal. Um, my normal left, in the late, well, because I started waking up slowly and then I cemented in 2000, March of 2000. So my normal left in, it was about 97 or so, 98. So I'm addressing your normal. No such thing as normal. Because the enemy in 2020 barked everybody up a tree, lockdowns, mask mandates, everything. And it was just the weirdest thing in forever to quarantine the healthy. Didn't make no sense at all to quarantine the healthy. But the can't get in too much of that, otherwise they won't put my video up. So apologize. Jesus wants to apologize. There's no such thing as normal from here on out. The kingdom age is coming quickly to many. Some of us have already reached into the kingdom age and we're going farther and farther. I could talk about a graduation of a graduation of a graduation, like keep going up higher with the Lord. So nothing's normal. So you shouldn't feel normal. That's the new normal. You won't feel normal. Like Abraham, go to a land I will show you. So he had to give it a go to a land that he will show him, but he has to get up and go and just walk it out in faith. So the new normal is walking by faith and allowing him to translate us, transform our bodies and minds and souls to be more spiritual than ever. And since we the people, the majority of people, 99.99 if you want to call it, haven't went this way before, you're not going to feel normal. Nothing's normal anymore. You got to have peace no matter what, which only comes from Jesus. And I told you, love doesn't exist on this planet. It only comes from God. So if you're trying to get it from somebody else, you're just taking it away from them and depleting them of the love, little bit of love that they have. So if we get love from God, the pure unadulterated love, and then give it away, but there's a lot of people in this world that will abuse you and use you, and they'll think your love is weakness, and they'll try to weaken you and steal your love, frustrate you, exasperate you, and that's what the world does. So we got to come out of that, realize that love only comes from God. And when I asked them the question, like, why does it, when you touch me, all I do was want to cry tears of joy, cry tears of joy. And he said that we live at such a deficit of love on the earth and in the earthen vessels, which is us, that that's, and it can only pour a spirit out so fast because you wouldn't be able to crawl. It's the opposite of fear, to where it's overflowed with joy, overflowed with love. And that's the new normal, to try to love the unlovable, because a lot of people that are coming out of the end time of the true, the end time is really the end of the cruel task master, which is Satan's people. So a lot of people don't realize, if they read the book, that Satan took over in chapter 3. He's not coming. He already owned all the world, and Jesus didn't deny that he owned all the world. But little did he know that Jesus purchased it all back to the blood covenant. Okay, so the devil's not coming. He's always been here. And his jurisdiction is now in your face, the lies and liars on the stages of life. And like I told you, don't be a stage show. Don't be don't be on God's altar. Get off of God's altar and get into the congregation and help the congregation move forward. Because as like Jonah was thrown overboard, and Jonah didn't care. He was the one crazy prophet. No, just throw me overboard. Yeah. Well. And finally they threw him overboard after throwing a lot of other stuff overboard. Then the waters calmed. The prophet's got to do his job, and it's a tough road to hoe. And I can understand Jonah being a prophet. how he's like, just burn them up, because, you get, when you first get into this job, you kind of get a little pissy, at the people, like, because they're such hardheads. They ridicule you, kick you out of the church. They get a few miracles and then get out of here because they put out their a hat for the money, make more money, and then then other pastors want to use you and abuse you as the stage show in order to get more money, because not about Jesus, it's about Judas, it's about Lucifer, because they just want the money bag. They don't want it to be about Jesus. And it's so sad. And, a servant is worthy of his hire. And, even in this job, a lot of people will, when I give them the bill, they like hem-haw to write the check. And I'm thinking, just write the check. Don't guilt and shame me for doing a good job. And, there's a small amount of people that do that. Most of our customers, like probably 90% of them are really good and kind, and they write me a check with no issue. But I have every now and then, about every few months, you run into these people that they don't understand. You solve their problems, and a lot of people in our business don't know how to solve problems because they haven't been in the business that long. And I've been fixing things since I was about 6-7 years old, and so that's a long time, because my father was always at work trying to support us, because I had 8 brothers. And we ate them out of house and home. We're like termites, okay? Like Jethro Bodine eating a whole box of cornflakes for your breakfast. And so we'd run out of food, and just, we can laugh at it now, even though my stomach hurted back then. Run out of food on Wednesday and have to starve till Friday. So no new such thing as normal. There's no such thing as normal anymore, because you kind of have to let go, yield in order for Jesus to do his job through you. And, and then the prophets, even the young prophets, a lot of people want to do stuff religiously, but God is spontaneous. So, like the Lord would tell me to give somebody a word. I said, well, you at least give me a clue. Give me a clue, even one morsel, like a 3-letter word, And nope, just speak. And I had to let him speak through me. They call it, don't worry about where you're going to go, let the Spirit of God speak through you. Now, he told me I had to use his name, Jesus, because he explained to me that Jesus means God's Spirit in many. It means the birthing of the body of Christ because of what Jesus did. And then, all the names translated from Joshua, Messiah, all the different names of God. And so the last name translated in English as G is us. G is us. 3 things. G is us. Jesus in us. Jesus in us. Now, the Christians know we're supposed to be the body of Christ, but they don't know to the nines what that really means. And hopefully they won't be ornery with you, and because we need to help as many people wake up as quickly as possible. But a lot of people fight it. So you may have to walk away for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, or they may have to walk away and call you a bleeping bleep because they don't understand. But Jesus wants everybody to partake. And then again, I'm going to keep this one a little bit short. There's no such thing as normal. We're going in, people. Everything's being transformed behind the scenes. There's a lot going on. The signs are all there. We've had blood red moons for a few years, every so many years, I don't know. And then we have planets that you can see in the sky. And then last time you could see 5 planets in the sky, which means the grace and the favor of Jesus, the hand of God. He sits at the right hand of God. So all the signs are there. And in the season that the enemy is just kicking, he's just kicking. He's just a goat. And he's always been there, but he's trying not to, he's already been fired. He just, doesn't want to leave the building. So he's already been fired. Okay, so as Jesus comes within his people for the massive body of Christ to come on the earth, and then the last play, okay, which we can talk about later on about the Antichrist, which he's got to be very charismatic. But you got to understand, okay, Satan's always been in the closet. He just come out of the closet. Now he's on the stages, and there's all these antichrists. Some of them are innocent for their ignorance. So always remember, as serious and harsh as I can be, there's a lot of people that are innocent for their ignorance. And the law, the law says, no, the law is the law. You're not innocent for your ignorance. But Jesus says they can be innocent for ignorance. That's why he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So there's a lot of them just doing what they've been taught. Like we talk about the parroting, the Pollywont's cracker. And, they're just saying what the other guy taught them to say. And they were taught religion. They were taught rote scripts. They weren't in relationship. So there's a major difference. So as I had to help some of the leadership in years past to get into position, and they got mad at me several times because they'll come to a point where they realize all they had was script. All they had was the book of testimonies, but they didn't really have their own testimony. So then as I was talking to them about praying, because everything's faith and prayer, declaration, faith, prayer, declaration, everything's faith and prayer. Everything's heart to heart, faith and prayer. And once they did that, they're getting signs and wonders and miracles would happen when they'd pray for people. Once they got it, once they got the relationship. And they felt like, like a lot of us did, we got cheated because all we got was religion. All we got is a dusty old book. And the book of Old Testament of men and New Testament men is great because it's the testimony of men, but it's not Jesus, because G is us. The word is within us. The fresh manna is in us. So I'm not knocking the book, but so many people worship the Father and the Son and the Holy Bible. They don't worship with him. They don't worship in spirit and truth. So they have a lot of intel. They have a lot of history. Okay, now God is rewriting history, which is two words, his story. He's rewriting history, past, present, and future. And I know it's kind of hard to comprehend because you're erasing all the parameters of time, that what you thought you were defined by is these parameters of time, like you're born so-and-so on such and such a street and your mom and dad's name and all this. So you're defined by the times past. But when you come to the understanding of the whole revelation, which are in all the books of the revelation of Jesus Christ, and for him to reveal himself in you, to you. So when it says test the spirit, say, hey, you have to confess that Jesus has come in this flesh, not that over there. You just, it's personal. To test the spirit says Jesus come in this flesh. And then Jesus said, you will not see me again. That's the way he said it. He said, you will not see him again until you say that blessed is so-and-so that comes in the name of whatever your name is. We'll pick on Dawn or Donna or somebody. Okay. So then you will see him because you acknowledge that Jesus, his spirit is within these people. And when you realize that, like, wow, awesome. Then the next thing that happens is you will be able to see him. You'll be able to sit with him. You'll be able to commune with him personally, one-on-one. And Jesus don't want to freak you out. You just don't want to freak anybody out. So you have to be ready to whatever degree, and you can't have fear. There's a lot of people that were very serious, like Paul, and Jesus came to him, and he came in fear, and then Paul was in fear and trembling, but it's a different type of fear because he doesn't want to scare you, okay, and have you run away. So, you have to try to be ready to meet him. But like I say, when I looked at the script and realized he said, you won't see me again until you say, I thought, oh my God, blessed is Michael, that comes in the one of the names of the Lord, in a name of the Lord, which Michael means who's like God. And so I see his spirit within him, and then he confesses Jesus came in his flesh. So the spirit of Jesus comes in the flesh. Then the next thing is, you will see him, because it says, you won't see him again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, or blessed is she who comes in the name of the Lord. So I was like on pins and needles going, oh my God, I'm going to see Jesus. I'm going to see his face. I've heard from him. We've had open dialogue for a long time, but now I'm going to see his face. And this was way back, I forget which years, but it doesn't matter. But I'm talking to you, and that's not normal. Okay, so that's not the normal of the world, to see him and sit with him and get revelation from him and be a man or woman of God to help his family enter in. So we're holding the door open to the marriage supper of the Lamb, Revelation 7:14. The trumpets all went off, and that's getting louder and louder and louder, because as we start repeating, as more and more people repeat, 40,000 people start repeating echoing what Jesus says from heaven, echoing out of their mouth into the valleys, into the highways and byways. Gets louder and louder. Then the kingdom comes swiftly to where we start setting up the cities. Cities will, first of all, slow down a little bit. Okay, slow down. Cities will turn into like oases, sheep cities, blessed cities, just like it did in the Welsh revival, and the different things happened in the Azusa Street, and different things happened in the 1906 and different times. And then eventually it'll saturate the whole earth. And eventually it may only be a few months. It may happen a lot quicker than we think. And, because 1,000 years is about a day, but you don't have to, we're not waiting no more thousands of years, okay? We're looking at, a few months, few weeks for stuff to start percolating. And then, like, say you graduate, like, up the mountain, and you graduate to that point, then you go up higher with him, then you go up higher with him, then you go up higher with him, then you go up higher with him. So it's a graduating thing. It's not like you graduate and you're done, and you hang out in a lazy boy and don't do nothing, don't say nothing. And no, it's not what people have been taught. So the kingdom of heaven comes, kingdom of earth. Kingdom of earth has become the kingdom of heaven, and rapidly changed in likeness of Jesus. And, living forever, and your vessel being transformed. And there'll be a lot of people taken out. And like I said, some of it I know is a mercy killing, and some of it's this and some of it's that. So, and that'll be very unsettling for a lot of people too. Like the first fruits ones that enter in, it won't be such a shock, because they've been told and told and told over and over and over by the Lord and by the other brothers and sisters in Christ. But a lot of them will be unsettled, because my mama's dead, my daddy's dead, my grandma's dead, and yeah. But you got to understand, it's just their meat suit expired. That's all. So they're not dead, okay? Because people of the Spirit know that Jesus says they're only sleeping. Lazarus was only sleeping. He wasn't awake in the first heaven. So when I go to bed at night, I go to sleep from the first heaven. I wake up in the third heaven. And when I go to sleep from there, I wake up here. Sleep is death, that's asleep. So every time I get in my coffin, which is my bed, open box, okay, it's an open viewing here, okay, so I get in my bed and I wake up there. When I go to sleep from there, I wake up here, and then I have to pray and go, Lord, okay, what do you want us to share? Because there's so much to share, and we need to keep it simple. So death is sleep, and sleep is death. No such thing as death. Lazarus was only sleeping from this realm, okay? Forget the child. Prophet said, they're only sleeping. Everybody's going, yeah, no, they're dead. And Lazarus was beyond dead. His meat suit expired 4 days ago. He stinks. So it's a whole new belief system, a whole new realm of nothing normal. So, hey, love you guys. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe. And please make comments because it helps the videos go out better. Comments, like, and subscribe. Because we have to help a lot of people. We have to help a lot of people in their new normal. Okay? All right, God bless you.